We secure our homes with locks. We guard our phones with passcodes. But have we ever thought of shielding our souls before walking into places drenched in spiritual impurity? Some places aren't just unsettling, they're dangerous. They carry the weight of sins, the residue of dark rituals, and the presence of whispers that echo long after you've left. These are spaces that repel angels, yet we stroll into them casually, unaware that their shadows might walk out with us. And then what happens? Life suddenly feels upside down. You lose your calm, your sleep feels disturbed, and your du'as lose their weight. You call it anxiety, maybe depression, a bad mood. But what if that heaviness came from a place, not a feeling? In Islam, we are not only warned about people who harm, we are cautioned about places that harm. Places where jinn gather, where shirk is practiced, where sins leave scars on the soul. Today, this isn't about entertainment. It's about exposure. The silent kind, the type that chokes your barakah, breaks your peace, and stains your prayers. So listen closely, because these are 5 places you must never walk into casually, places that may seem harmless, but carry consequences you can't see. Because while you may exit the room, some rooms never exit you. Place number 1. Abandoned homes and ruins. It always begins with curiosity. You're walking past and someone says, "Let's explore it, it's just an old building." The doors creak, the walls flake, the air feels thick, but you laugh it off. You see it as aesthetic decay, perfect for a photo, a vlog, or a dare. But Islam teaches these places are not just broken structures. They are often the dwellings of jinn. Yes, what we romanticize, the Prophet warned us about. He instructed us, don't spend the night in abandoned places. Don't step into ruins without protection. Say Bismillah before entering. But who remembers that when they're filming haunted content? We walk in with curiosity and leave with consequences. Have you ever entered a place and felt like your heart grew heavy? Your mind fogged up? Your chest tightened for no medical reason? It's not always your imagination. Sometimes it's an invasion. That abandoned house may not be empty. That aesthetic ruin might be someone else's territory. Worse, when you joked inside, did they hear you? When you mocked that space, did it mark you? Because some places don't need to speak to curse you. They just need you to linger long enough. People leave those places thinking it was just creepy vibes. But days later, their sleep is disturbed, their energy drops, their prayers lose presence, and they don't connect the dots, but the soul knows, and the jinn remember. So the next time you walk into an empty house for fun, ask yourself, if no one lives there, why has it never been reclaimed? Because when Allah makes something hard to enter, that in itself, not every graveyard carries peace. Some graves are surrounded by light, while others are wrapped in whispers. Across the world, there are burial sites that should bring us humility, but instead they've become shrines of desperation, places where people don't just pray for the dead, they pray to them. The Prophet Muhammad made it clear, the grave is a place of silence, of reflection, of dua for the deceased, not through them, but emotional desperation often wears the mask of sincerity, and in that pain, people cross the line without realizing. You'll see a man sobbing beside a tomb, begging the one inside to fix his problems. You'll hear a woman whisper her heartbreak into the soil, asking the soul beneath to intercede on her behalf. It doesn't look like shirk. But that's the danger. Shirk never looks like shirk at first. The Prophet warned, "Do not make my grave a place of celebration. Send blessings upon me wherever you are." And yet, people treat graves like portals, like intermediaries between them and Allah. But when you stop calling upon the Creator and start crying to the creation, that's when your heart shifts and your soul stains. But there's more. Many of these graveyards don't just carry misdirected prayers. They become centers of sihr. You'll find amulets buried beside headstones, locks tied to branches, drops of blood in the soil. Hair names, spells whispered between rocks. What was once a resting place for the dead becomes a feeding ground for jinn. You may walk in with good intentions, but leave spiritually poisoned. Your sleep starts breaking. Your risk begins drying up. Your energy fades, and you wonder why your dua feels disconnected, like something stands between you and the sky. What if it wasn't just burnout? What if you picked up something unseen? Here's the painful truth. Even if your heart is sincere, a prayer directed to the wrong door is still a prayer misdirected. So protect your tawheed. Honor the righteous, yes, but never exalt them beyond their station. Your Rab is near. He hears every cry. You don't need a grave to carry your dua. You need a heart that's pointed upward, because the moment you kneel to anyone besides Allah, even in pain, even in hope, you hand your rope to something that will never pull you back to Him. When people imagine seer, they picture shadows, a dark forest, a cloaked figure in the dead of night. But the most dangerous magic doesn't hide in the woods. It's sold in broad daylight, right beside the fruits, between the cloth stalls, behind the perfume bottles, in marketplaces across the world. There are corners where seer isn't feared. They're sold like perfume, labeled with charm and sealed with deception. You walk past a table, a man smiles and says, "For luck, for love, for protection." He hands you a string knotted with symbols, inked in strange languages. You think it's harmless. You think it's cultural. But what you're holding is not just an object, it's someone else's destruction. The Prophet named seer among the 7 deadly sins. Yet it's being traded like candy. These markets are spiritual minefields. You think you're shopping, but you're surrounded by darkness, wrapped in paper, bottled in oils, whispered through talismans. There are scrolls written in cursed ink, water blessed with incantations, amulets sealed with names of victims, and you don't even realize you've touched it until your sleep is shattered. Your heart feels uneasy. Your home turns cold even when it's lit. You wonder why your duas feel choked, why your children suddenly fall sick, why arguments erupt without cause. It began with what you carried home, unknowingly, because jinn and magicians run like a business. They've got supply, they've got demand, and they've got locations. Yes, there are entire spiritual black markets operating behind ordinary storefronts. Some sell ruination masked as restoration, make someone love you, destroy their marriage, freeze their income. People pay to ruin lives, and some of them, may Allah protect us, don't even believe in Allah at all. But the worst part? You don't need to buy anything to be affected. You just need to be near it. Even the air is heavy. Even the presence corrupts. Even proximity poisons. So the next time a stranger offers you something blessed, don't just check the price tag. Check your tawheed. Because what looks like a souvenir could be a sentence. What feels like a curiosity could be a curse. And what seems like just browsing could be the moment your ruh got compromised. The Prophet said, "Whoever goes to a soothsayer and believes him has disbelieved in what was revealed to Muhammad." So walk with your heart alert. Trust your instincts. If your chest tightens, leave. Even if your logic doesn't understand, that discomfort might be Allah warning you, because products can be replaced. But you only have one soul. Say it starts innocently. You feel blocked. Your health feels off. Your marriage is shaking. Your mind feels clouded. Someone recommends a healer. They say, "He's religious. She reads Quran." That center is full of light. There's calligraphy, soft incense, calming energy. And so you go, desperate for relief, hungry for healing. You enter expecting peace. But what if peace was just the front cover, and behind it was a trap? Here's the bitter truth. Not every place that quotes the Quran is righteous. Not every center that plays nasheeds is guided. Not every person who wears a turban carries light, because some healing centers are factories of deception. Behind velvet curtains, beyond that locked side room, are rituals that would make your soul tremble, not expelling jinn, summoning them, not healing the heart, binding it, not ruqya, rituals soaked in shirk. They may ask for your name, then your mother's name, and a major red flag. They may tie a thread around your arm, ink symbols on paper, recite words not in Arabic and say, "This is powerful." It is powerful, but not from Allah. You feel uneasy, but they smile and say, "Trust me, you'll feel better soon." But Why does Islamic healing need secrecy? Need mystery? Need ingredients never found in the Sunnah? The Prophet said, "Whoever seeks healing through unlawful means, Allah will not place healing in it." Yet these centers mix Quranic verses with whispers to jinn. They chant ayahs, while bowing in false ritual. They exploit grief. They twist hope into hooks. Behind the polished walls, there may be dolls pierced with pins, clothes of past, clients, spells stored in jars, animal sacrifices sealed in boxes, all under the label of Islamic wellness. And don't assume it's only in remote villages. No, these places thrive in cities, behind fancy logos, on spiritual Instagram pages, in homes turned energy clinics, with thousands of followers. When spirituality becomes a business, Shaitan signs the lease. Ask yourself, if this was truly from Allah, why does it feel like something is hiding? Why the whispered languages? Why the secret rituals? Why the forbidden names and coded bottles? True ruqya is simple. True healing is clear. The Prophet didn't hide behind curtains. He didn't require your birth data. He didn't mix Quran with sorcery. If your heart races, if your soul flinches, if you feel dizzy, lost, or distant in these spaces, that's not energy shifting. That's a warning. Get out, because the most dangerous traps are the ones that wear the name of Allah while working against His command. So before you let anyone, lay a hand on your head, whisper near your ear, place a cloth under your pillow. Ask this one question: would the Prophet recognize this? Practice. Or would he warn me to run? This one stings. Because it's everywhere, because it looks normal, because we've been told it's just fun. But the truth doesn't wait for permission. And it doesn't soften its tone for comfort. In today's world, we've built entire buildings not to remember Allah, not to rest the heart, not to uplift the soul, but to feed the nafs. Concert halls where lights flash like portals, clubs echoing with music that numbs the soul. Cinemas where sin is projected 40 feet wide, and people applaud. These are not spiritually neutral spaces. They are designed to pull you away from Allah. You walk in for entertainment, but you exit with a heavier soul, more distant from Salah, less connected to Quran, more numb to sin, and still we don't connect the dots. Ever noticed how after a night out, Fajr becomes harder? Your heart feels dry, dua feels robotic. That's not just fatigue. That's consequence. When a room is filled with shame, exposed bodies, substances that cloud your mind, lyrics that glorify disobedience, and eyes that have forgotten how to lower their gaze, who do you think rules that space? Because where remembrance dies, whispers thrive. Where haya is stripped, jinn gather. Where hearts are emptied of dhikr, shayateen speak louder. Even the clean movies leave unseen stains. Even one love song that romanticizes haram can echo in your chest for weeks. It starts with one tear at a haram story, one laugh at a joke mocking Islam, one cheer for an artist glorifying sin. Bit by bit, your fitrah becomes numb. It's not just what's shown, it's what's missing. No salah, no zikr, no humility, just shadows, music, and desires. And the whispers. They don't stay behind. They follow you. Into your thoughts. Your bedroom. Your next argument. Your next temptation. The Prophet taught us to leave spaces where sin thrives. Not because Allah wants to restrict you, but because He wants to preserve you. These places give you 2 hours of thrill, but steal your week's barakah. And what's worse, we call it self-care. But on the Day of Judgment, would you be proud if that moment was replayed? Before you chase the neon lights, before the bass drops, before the screen flickers? Pause, because some doors don't open to a room. They open to a spiritual battlefield. And if you enter unprotected, you don't just risk your time, you risk your heart. We forget how much harm a place can carry, how much weight a room can transfer. But Allah never left us without protection. He gave us Surah Al-Baqarah, a fortress no jinn can penetrate. The Prophet said, Shaitan does not enter a house where Al-Baqarah is recited. He gave us Ayat al-Kursi, a shield for the night, a guard for the soul. He gave us the last 2 verses of Al-Baqarah and the 3 pillars of protection, Surah Al-Ikhlas, Al-Falaq, and An-Nas. He gave us wudu before bed, morning and evening, adkar, and the ability to seek refuge at any moment. But what did we do? We chose necklaces over dua, healers over dhikr, rooms over remembrance. Real protection doesn't come from cloth strings, or whispered riddles, or spiritual influences charging money for light. It comes from tawakkul, from trusting Allah fully, from guarding your faith like a precious flame in the wind. When your bond with Allah is firm, no spell can touch you. No whisper can confuse you. No darkness can overpower you. The Prophet said, "Be mindful of Allah, and He will protect you." So take this video as a wake-up call. Reflect, reset, realign, because your next step might lead to a space that wants to stain your soul, or it might be your path back to the one who created it. Comment this dua if you're serious about your protection. Ya Allah, protect me from every evil I cannot see. If this reminder struck your heart, like it, share it, spread it, and until next time, stay alert, stay safe, and stay close to Allah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.